Alright, it's day number 116 of my accountability to myself, and I appreciate everyone's attention who watches this. And I will try today to explain everything that is going on in my mind about a couple of conclusions I have, and probably it's gonna be hard because my thoughts are so confused. And also, I noticed, I don't know why, but the way I express myself in English, I don't really like it. It can be improved significantly, and I need to work with that. Probably I will mention about this if I won't forget. So today, what basically happened, I woke up at 7 p.m. at 7 a.m. and I agreed to go to the gym with a guy yesterday, right? And at 8 a.m. we went to the gym. And first, it was an incredible gym. It was really a nice gym. Second, it's kind of far away. So if I used public transport, it would take 35 minutes. But today, like the guy picked me up with his car, so we got there a bit faster. And I didn't even know in what kind of gym are we going today. And so yeah, I'm really glad. First, I'm really glad that I discovered a new gym because I'm gonna be training there sometimes, even though it's gonna take 35 minutes only to get there. Still, I will be spending this time because I really like the gym. And second thing, I would never try it on my own because if I have a gym that is 5 minutes from my home, why would I spend 35 minutes to get to another gym? For me, it's basically not practical. And by the way, the gym works 24 hours per day and 7 days a week. So even if it's Sunday, still it works 24 hours. And actually, I don't really like to train at night, in the evening. I prefer training in the morning, but maybe once during the summer I will have desire to go there at night. Who knows? Because it's about vibe. The vibe is incredible. You know, there are like huge windows from, instead of walls, there are windows. I don't remember how it's called, but it's really beautiful. And it's not the first floor, it's like fourth floor or something, and it's kind of high, so you can see a lot of things around. And the gym is huge. There are no people, but there are not a lot of people. And you know, the thing is that normally it takes for me 1 to 2 hours to train. 2 hours is if I'm resting a lot, if I'm doing something in my phone between my sets, and that's why my training is so long, right? And I expected this training to be about 3 hours because I knew that we will be talking about something with this guy. We always like, I got to know him only last week, and we trained together it was first time when we trained together, and every time we are talking about something for a long time, and always my workout is way longer just because we're talking about something. And so when we came there first, it was so nice. He brought for me he picked for me Monster, like energy drink, and some cookies. And it was nice because before having our workout, we kind of were sitting and eating this stuff, and there was a nice table with chairs, so there was even a nice place to sit in the gym. And before we started our workout, we spent 2 hours talking, just talking about stuff, and it's amazing. It's really amazing because this guy is so impressive. For me, he's so impressive. And it reminds me a quote that I heard relatively recently, that people are impressed by people who does not try to impress people. And this guy he's not trying to impress anybody. He just does what he likes, and he just has his own opinion, his own beliefs, and he just lives his life, and pretty successful, let's be honest. Because having his business and his store, like, never mind it, and it's not even about business and stuff like that. It's about his mindset. His mindset is so broad. Most of the times when we communicate, like in general, not even with him, but for example, most of the times when I communicate with someone, I talk more than my interlocutor. In case with this guy, he talks way more than me because he knows way more than me. And he can explain a lot of stuff, you know. And then we communicate, but still, he can tell me more because he basically knows more. And it was really nice. And by the way, the training took in total 5 hours because 2 hours we spent just talking, and then 3 hours it was training and talking between sets. And you know, normally it takes for me 2 to 3 minutes to rest between my two sets. In this case, having conversation with this guy, it normally takes 10 to 20 minutes to rest between sets because we just have conversation. We're just talking about different kind of stuff. And to me, for example, first we literally have the same opinion about a lot of things. I would say our mindsets are not really far away. Like, he's more intelligent, he knows more stuff, but still, about the things that I know, we have the same opinion. Probably about all of the stuff, or 90% of the stuff. And I don't know, those conversations, you know, it's just the only person after like having conversation with him. After that, I need a couple of days constantly reflecting on what we were talking about to process all the information. I always return home and I feel like, wow, like that's an amazing conversation, and this time always is incredibly spent with this guy. And it's really hard to explain actually, because to understand what I mean, you just need to talk with that guy, you know. And it's really interesting because among all the people who I know in the city, there are someone who strives for more, there's someone who doesn't give a fuck about his life. But this guy, I don't, it's even hard to compare him to those people because conversations with him, they are like, those conversations are at another level. It's not, it probably sounds a bit arrogantly, right? But what I mean is just really interesting for me to have a conversation with this guy. And these 5 hours that we spent in the gym, definitely worth it. And probably we would even talk more, but he had a meeting at 1, he had stuff that he was supposed to do at 1 p.m. and I had a meeting at 1 p.m. That's why he needed to leave and I needed to leave. But we still were talking, you know, until the last moment, until we needed to go to do our stuff. And those 5 hours, I didn't even notice how they passed through. And it's definitely not wasting of time, you know. As he told me that conversations with you, it doesn't feel as waste of time, something like that. And it's very true because I feel like the same, like, normally conversations 5 hours, probably you could be more productive doing some stuff per day, this and that. But indeed, it's more precious, actually, especially for me, this kind of conversation. So for me, it made my day, literally. And it made me think about a lot of stuff. It made me it gave me more room for reflections because I'm always strict to myself, right? For example, if I come to the gym and uh, I have my cycle of trainings, for example, chest and shoulders, back, arms, legs, and the cycle repeats always. But this guy, he today comes to the gym and I'm asking him, what are you going to train? He says legs. I said, damn, I train legs today. I'm going to train chest. And he said, I'm gonna train chest also. And I was like, all right, let's go. So we train chest. And he just does whatever he wants. And at the same time, he's not like, it sounds like he's training randomly, but he actually does what he likes. And his approach is very smart because he reads a lot of scientific papers about your body, about trainings and stuff like that. And also, he's bodybuilder, so it's a bit another stuff compared to what I do because for me it's important how much I can bench. For him, it's important how his body looks like, and he's also successful bodybuilder because a couple of years he won one championship in Belgium, like the most significant championship in Belgium, let's say. And he won it, so he definitely knows how to train. But still, what he says to me, you just need to do what you like. You need to enjoy your life. But of course, it doesn't mean like to play games constantly, to waste your time. You need to understand what are you doing, because it's not only about enjoying your life, it's also about having a dream. One of the things that he always says to me, you need to have a dream. It must be a dream that is impossible to reach. Literally, something high to that extent that is impossible to reach. But you definitely should strive for this. You need to try to get closer to that always. And you will never reach it, but you will be getting better while trying to get there, And it's so interesting because I'm still thinking, what kind of dream can I have in terms of this? Like, I have goals. Goals are reachable. What about my dream? What actually my dream is? What I actually believe in? Because one of the things that he also says me, if you believe that it works, then it works. And most of the cases it is like this, because we also had a long conversation about this with some examples, with different kind of stuff. And if you genuinely believe in something, you have as a result some kind of outward your actions, and it just happens in that way that you achieve something or you can do something. There are some things that I cannot actually mention, but it's actually incredible. Like, it seems like it really works if you genuinely believe. Not if you just think about this, not if you are trying to believe, if you literally believe this. So try to understand what I mean right now. What does it mean genuinely believe? Like, who you are, what you believe in, what are your beliefs, what is subconscious in your mind. Do you have some mental blocks that, oh, it's impossible, or oh yeah, it's something that I always do, stuff like that. Because it's very important we have something that is stuck in our mind, and One of the things that I wanted to mention today that he also told me, I thought, by the way, our brain works at 10 to 15 percentages of its power, but indeed we apply only 1 to 5 percentages of what our brain is capable of. It's according to science. And it happens because our brain is wired to survive. And that's why it tries to make most of the stuff automatically, subconsciously. And that's why we act during the day, how I wrote it, 90 percentages of the actions you do are subconscious. That's why it's very important to have some kind of habits and have some kind of beliefs. Because according to those two things, you act in a specific way. And as a result of your actions, you become some kind of person. As a result of your belief, it's actually even for me very hard to talk about this because I cannot comprehend it totally. You know, when I talk with this guy, he always talks about something and I'm trying to understand what does he mean, but I definitely need more time to reflect about this. And what actually impresses me even more, I'm reading a book, Think and Grow Rich, and I really like thoughts that are expressed in this book. And that guy, he have never read this book. He has this book, but he have never read it. And sometimes he tells about some things like he wrote this book, you know, because he mentioned probably already 50% that are mentioned in this book without reading it. It's just what he knows, these are his conclusions, you know, his mindset. And it's so impressive. And I'm really glad that I met this kind of person because it's definitely the person who is way higher than me in this life and who strives even for more. But at the same time, he has interesting approach. All right, I forgot what I was talking about before. I'm just thinking about everything that we talked with him about, and that's why I'm saying that it's hard to express myself because I'm still thinking about this. Literally, for me to understand him completely, I need to think a couple of days more and reflect on this stuff and then ask him more the next time when we meet. And one of, by the way, very interesting things, I would say I got lucky, and the most interesting thing, that guy did strike up conversation with me, not me, because I don't really like to start talking to people without any reason. So if I have a reason, I can strike up in conversation without any problems. And yeah, and that guy, he started talking to me, I remember. And why it happened, like how it happened, we can say it's just an accident. It happened by accident because we literally were together. How to say it? When you change your clothes before going to work out. Like I was putting everything in my bag, and I was about to leave. And he was also there, and he told something to me, and it's like an accident, right? It's not even an accident, but the chance was so low that it's gonna happen. But it happened. And why it happened? Because I went somewhere. So the thing is that you will be lucky in this life, and it's not even about lucky. You will meet some people, some opportunities will find you on your own, but you need to make the first step towards those opportunities. For example, for me, I've never considered going to the gym as a way of making friends, making some expanding my network. Even though nowadays I know a couple of people there, I come to the gym, I greet them, like we give handshake, right? Uh, we talk also about different kind of stuff. Yeah, that's nice, but these are normally not really long conversations, like 10 to 20 minutes, like that. But with this guy, for example, about who I mentioned, it's another story. We always talk for hours. And so what I mean is that if you go somewhere, opportunities might find you, something might happen to you, something that you don't expect. Because for me, I had a huge desire to get acquainted in real life with someone who is really above me, who is way more intelligent and who has just more broad mindset, and with who I can have those conversations that I learn something from this, you know? Yeah. This guy for me, really impressive, as you mentioned. And it's because of his mindset, because I talked to him, because I've seen him a lot of times in the gym. Not a lot, yeah, like kinda a lot of times. But I actually got to know who he is only through conversation. And only through conversation, I realized what kind of person he is, which is impressive. All right. And so we never know what kind of opportunities, what kind of people might find you, or who you can find. But if you just sit at home, opportunities won't come to your home. You need to go somewhere, at least just outside. Probably try to talk to people. It's something that I don't really like, to talk without any reasons. Again, if I have a reason, I can easily strike up a conversation. If I see a nice girl and she's not like 50 meters away from me, she's like next to me, I can easily strike up conversation with her if I'm interested in this, right? But to have those random moments, you need to be somewhere when those random moments can find you. All right. It basically took so much time to explain it, and I have not even explained anything. I think it's everything that I mentioned is so confusing because I have some thoughts, and as I mentioned, I realized my self-expression in English is actually bad, because talking with this person, with this guy today in the gym, he always expresses himself accurately, and his vocabulary is broad, especially in gym industry. And in gym industry, my vocabulary is not really broad, so when he always says about some kind of exercise, I'm asking, what's that? And he's supposed to show what's that, because by words I don't really understand always. Yeah. And so I also decided to learn more vocabulary that is related to gym, because I always wanted to learn it, but I've never had necessity. Today I have. kind of, because yeah, I realized I learned wrong English. Most of the words that I'm studying, this is are advanced level of words that I already know. For example, we have a word common, there's word ubiquitous, there's word prevalent. Meaning is a bit different. For example, ubiquitous is stronger than common. But does it really make sense if I don't know how to say scoop out or scoop up? For example, there's a coin, and when you bend down to grab that coin, it's called scoop up, to scoop up a coin, for example. I've learned it today. When you, for example, eat your never mind. I will be explaining so long. So, what happened basically next in my day? Then I returned home. I had my breakfast, right? Then I had my meeting because that is related to my internship. And afterwards, what I did, I went to sleep. And I spent more than 2 hours sleeping. I woke up, it was almost 6 p.m. And only at 6 p.m. I started doing something related to my internship. So I did my internship for 2 hours. Then I went to have my dinner, and that's it. That's all the day. By the way, I forgot to mention I passed all the exams. Yeah, I'm glad. Because the last 2 weeks it was really hard to combine it with studies with my internship. And that's why I felt that I don't really study a lot. Yo, by the way, there's a thing, this guy who is old grown. He's about to be 24 years old, with who I went to the gym today, right? And he's going to start studying the same major as I study in the same university I study. And you can start studying since September, and you can start studying since February. And he's going to start studying since February. Obviously, we won't be in the same group, but probably we will be having